July 6, 2024. Yes, it's 5 days after New Year. I've got some gameplay of Upward with Heavy, Scout, and Engineer, and Demo, and all that good stuff. I just wanted to talk about some things going on with the channel. As you are probably well aware, 2021, I kind of hit the peak of the channel. Some things happened in my personal life, kind of hit me emotionally and mentally, and I just checked out of being able to make things the way that I wanted to. There was just a lot of obstacles going on at the time. I quit my job to make YouTube videos full time because I was only making minimum wage, and so I was making way more off YouTube than I was at my job. Unfortunately, as you're probably also aware, doing that kind of thing does not typically reflect well on other people. I was living in someone else's house, and even though I was making money, they were not happy with me quitting my job, even though I could prove to them I was making money. But some complications happened with that, and I had to kind of move on from doing that. Well, in 2023-ish, I tried to go back to making YouTube videos a little more frequently, and I had a big video planned that involved a lot of filming and traveling and seeing friends and props and footage being recorded, and it was a very high concept video that was going to be my sort of comeback, I guess, to making regular content. This video kind of deadlocked me, and we'll get to that in a second, but the point that I'm trying to make is that a lot of time and energy and planning went into this video. So I got in the car, I drove to some friend's house, they were going to be in it, and I drove there, and we had a lot of fun filming. We were filmed one day, I backed that footage up, and then we filmed the next day, and I went to back that footage up, where the bulk of our footage was. Like, you could probably just make the entire video out of just that. You could probably just make the entire video out of just that, honestly. But we recorded, and we did everything we could, everything we wanted to, and I put the SD card from the camera into the computer that I had with me, my laptop, and I hit Control X, Control V. Now, if you don't know what Control X, Control V does, well, when I'm editing, I like to keep things sort of at a minimum, and so one habit I've gotten into doing, which has bit me in the ass more than one time, in just normal data organization, things like that, is on the timeline, instead of hitting Control C, Control V, I hit Control X, Control V, because Control X deletes the footage from that one spot, stores it on the clipboard, and then you can paste it wherever else. And you no longer have to worry about multiple hundreds of copies of that same clip showing up down the line, because you just Control X, Control V'd. Now, that's something I do. It's just a personal thing. That's by no means like advice. I wouldn't recommend doing it, and here's why. I've become so used to doing that hitting Control X, Control V is just the way I do it now, just with anything. Copying files or, sending stuff. Control X, Control V. It's now habit. And it's a habit I've gotten out of doing since this happened, because I hit Control X, Control V, and I pasted the files from the SD card onto my laptop. And I don't know why this happened. I did that, and I got up, and I went to go get some, food, like noodles or something. It was something like that, because I had not eaten all day. And so I went and I got food, and I sat down to eat it, and I ate it, and I came back. Well, at some point during the process, the computer had blue screened. And this is why hitting Control X, Control V was a bad idea. Because if I had copied that footage, it would have kept the original copy in place and just made the copy, right? But since I hit Control X, Control V, what that does is it makes a copy, then it deletes the old one. But I guess it still kind of like nulls the data out to be copied, I guess. At least when you're moving from a drive to a drive. If you're moving it from one place to the same place on the drive, it'll just move like that instantly. But because the data was no longer, there or terminated or whatever the proper term would be, it just didn't exist anymore. Like, it was there, but it was now corrupted beyond recognition. And I tried to get some services to do it, and they said they would, but it would have been a substantial fee for the possibility of getting the data back. There was no guarantee you could. And even one of them I sent the data to look at, they said it doesn't look like you're going to get anything off of this if we try. So I cut it as a loss right there. I just decided there was no... It wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth the time investment or the money to possibly get it back. But I got with my friends and I sat them down and I said, everything we just did was gone. And there was no getting it back. And they were very, very supportive. They were willing to do it again. Whatever they had to do in order to get the video made, they were willing to help me. But the issue was, it was Mother's Day. I had to be home to be with my grandmother because she raised me, and I wanted to be there with her for Mother's Day. And even if I hadn't done that, there was no way we were going to get the 20-30 minutes of footage that we were going to need, with everyone also not being actors or having to memorize lines or anything like that. They're just people who were willing to help me. And I had made a decision that I wasn't going to let this hold me back again. Because emotional and mental things, that all kept me from making videos because I was stuck in this deadlock, right? But I was determined this video was going to get made. So something I had decided about a week after was I was going to go back and I was going to get in the car and I was going to go back and we were going to do it again. I was going to plan another trip out there. Problem was, about a week after I got back, around the 1st of June, I got pneumonia in the middle of summer in South Carolina. What a weird time to get fucking pneumonia, right? But I did. So I went to the doctor, because I started getting sick and coughing a lot, and they said nothing was wrong with you. Nothing's wrong with me. They sent me home with some medicine. I forget the name of it. It's some generic antibiotic to help fight off things like pneumonia or whatever. So they sent me home with that, told me to take it, and I'd be fine in a couple of days, they said. Well, 4 or 5 days later, it was a Sunday, I had to go back to work, to my normal job, which I love, by the way. I know I spoke earlier about, quitting my job. I didn't get this job because I was forced to. I got this job because I really wanted to, because it was a lot of money, and it was like way more stable hours, benefits, things that working at the grocery store I never once got. But I had to go back to this job that Monday, and it was something that I had to do, like, I had to get a medicine or a diagnosis or something now. It wasn't something I could wait on, so I went back to the doctor with some prodding from my grandmother because she saw I was not getting better. And so we went to the hospital, and they told me, again, nothing was wrong. Despite how much I was coughing, my chest felt like it was going to collapse in on itself like a roof with too much pressure on it. It felt like bad, horrible. It was the worst pain I've ever been in. But the doctor there, he told me nothing was wrong still. But because I had been coughing so much, they assumed the reason I was coughing so much, I should say, is that it raised my cardiac marker, which, if you don't know, is the sign of a heart attack. And and that scared them. It scared me. But so they said they were going to keep me overnight. It wasn't normal for people my age to be having heart attacks, but they were going to keep me overnight, observe me, make sure everything was okay, even though nothing was wrong, currently, besides me being horribly, horribly sick and coughing and clearly not well. Visibly, I mean, you could look at me and tell I was suffering. That doctor, I guess, at around like 7 or 8 that night, shifts changed. And around 10 o'clock, my new doctor that was watching me over in the emergency room, she came in and informed me that I did in fact have pneumonia, which was what we had suspected, because my grandmother had pneumonia, and we had just found out pneumonia was viral, and so, I thought it wasn't, but apparently it is. And so I even told them she had pneumonia, but they kept telling me nothing was wrong. This new doctor, though, she came in and she said, "You've got pneumonia. Your left lung, my left lung was like full of liquid or something, however pneumonia works." And so I got sick, horribly sick, couldn't go back. That's where that high concept video died. I spent about a month in bed, just lying around, being sick, didn't know what to do, didn't have anything to do, taking breathing treatments, playing Fallout 76 to just pass time, going in and out of consciousness. It was not a great time. But the point that I'm trying to make is that this kind of stun-locked me because now I had hospital bills. I couldn't reasonably or responsibly take another trip to go see these people and film a video because I had to pay this hospital bill now. So it stun-locked me. I was determined that if I was coming back to YouTube to make that video, it was going to be that pyro video, because I was going to make the Eureka Effect and Pomson video, the Cow Mangler and Righteous Bison video. There would be a break in the middle for pyro before I go back to talking about pyro weapons, because I had not made one in so long, because pyro's just one of the worst classes for me to play as or play against. I hate playing pyro. Something about it fills me with rage. And then the video was going to revolve around them sort of, my friends sort of trying to, like, convince me that I don't hate playing pyro. I just hate talking about things that I don't understand. Which, if you're watching the gameplay, I'm not terribly great at playing Team Fortress 2. It's one of those things where I can talk about it a lot, and the theory behind it is there, it's solid, but I'm not good at playing it. But I was deadlocked because this video was going to be my return if it killed me, and it almost did, as it would seem. But I didn't want to go back to making more How Bad Could It Be until that video was made. This past year, though, 2023, at the tail end of it, around October, November, December, that area, I finally moved into a new house by myself with a job I like and a schedule that's consistent, so I can plan to do these kinds of things now. And I've given up on that video for now. It may still come out one day. I've still got the documents, the friends, they're willing to do it, I think. So that video may come out one day, but the Flog Pyro video, it's still on the back burner. Well, hopefully it might even come out after the back burner, I guess. I don't know. That's a joke. But I wanted to go back into making YouTube videos because I've got 2 nieces and I've got a cousin, and I lost my mother when I was 16, and I don't have any videos or pictures really of her to remember her. I hardly remember what she sounded like anymore. I don't have anything like that. But hopefully, if I make YouTube videos and I keep making them, hopefully maybe one day if I pass away, tomorrow in a car accident, then my niece is my, cousin that I'm starting to get acquainted with now that he's starting to get a little older. Maybe they'll have something that they can look back and see their uncle or, their cousin or whatever they want to call me, and, they'll have some way to remember me, because I'd like to consider myself as pretty close with them. And not just them, but also my sister or my aunts or my uncles. I'd like for them to be able to have something to go back and remember more or less what I was like, what I was into, my Ghostbusters obsession, my obsession with electronics, arcade games, PC games, Valve, anything Valve related, just about. I mean, I'd like for them to be able to have something to go back to and see that, right? So, as I start to get better and I start to practice these little tiny things that make me me, editing and video photography, and Edwin's going to school for it now, and hopefully one day he'll make a killing off of that. I hope that for him, even if I can't provide that to him the way that I used to. Hopefully everything will get better, everything will go back to being the way that it used to be, and it's really the only thing I want in this life, is for everyone to be happy and to remember who I am. And I just want my family and my friends to be able to look back and remember kind of what they helped more or less to create, because a lot of my life and my friends and my family and my humor, it's in these videos. There's a lot of little tiny in-jokes and references that you probably would never get, because they're purely for the people who watch them that were involved in those jokes and references. And in a way, I feel like that's sort of fitting, because the video's ending with the engineer gameplay, and that was not by design, but whatever. Anyway, here's to hoping the health of the game gets better. Here's to hoping more videos in 2024 than there have been in the last couple years. And here's to just generally becoming more consistent and more reliant on, not reliant, but more able to make videos without worrying about their high production value or things like that, because let's be honest, you don't care how much time I spend filming or how much money I'm putting into making these videos. You don't care about any of that. So with all that being said, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and here's to a great 2024. I'll talk to you later.